What's up, daddies? Got a Tales of McWeezy for you. I believe this is episode 6, maybe 7, 6. So, another tale of me almost dying. This was, I want to say 2017 at the earliest. It had to be, sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. Yeah, it was one of the two. It had to be 2017 or 2018 because I graduated from UF in 2019, and this happened with what would be for normal people, but I took a break with injuries and shit. Normal people would be junior year, so 2017, 2018 at most. Probably late 2017 is what I'm remembering. No, sorry, it was definitely early 2018. I do remember now. So early 2018. If you've been to a big college before, you know, like, it's fucking crazy. Like, there's the especially with at least with Gainesville, the college is the town. You know, like, there's outskirts and that are obviously not really connected, but for the most part, the college is the town, and it's crazy. Beautiful women everywhere, hot guys, ripped dudes, football players, basketball players, these players going to professional levels. You know, like, every day I would see future NFL players. Like, I had a class with Kadarius Toney, who was the first round pick last year with the Giants. In this same semester, actually, I had a class with David Reese, who he didn't get in the NFL, but he was pretty good for the Gators. So at UF, they have this area. I am a history student, right? And anything, Pat, pretty much, you will take some electives because you have to, but pretty much anything after your sophomore year is towards your bachelor's. And mine was history, so I took almost all history classes with a few, history with a minor in classic civilizations. Those are the two classes I took almost all of. And again, I had a few electives that I had to take. I had to take two extra sciences because they're lame. I had to take language. You know, that's just, even though I took 2 in college already. But UF has those, extra things you have to do. So I go to this history building, and the class was upstairs in the history building. It's a really small building for the history building, I guess, because probably not that many history students compared, and it's called Kent, and there's only one vending machine, and it just does drinks. So I'm in the history building, and I'm like, not really hungry, but I'm kind of bored, I guess, because I was waiting between classes, and I just sit on my phone between classes at this point because I didn't know anybody at this point. I didn't, at UF, I only knew a few people that went to high school with me, which were still there, surprisingly. Not talking shit, trust me. I'm just saying, like, that it was kind of cool to see them, and then a couple little friends I made at that point. I eventually made some friends, like actual friends, later, but that wasn't until later. So I go from there to go find something to eat, and there's this hall. I don't even remember the name. It starts with a T. It has all these, like, it's big ass fucking, like, walkway. This is the hall for the freshmen and sophomores. This is where, like, most of the electives were, right? Or even, like, beginners classes. Not beginners classes. What's the word I'm looking for? So your first 2 years in college, typically you're taking just overall classes like that are in high school. So, like, your maths and all that. This is where a lot of those classes were. Those freshman and sophomore classes, the really big auditoriums and stuff. Most of them were in these. You had a couple big classes for, higher level college students, but most of your big, huge auditorium classes were sophomore and freshman classes. And at this point, I was taking European history, and this one was focused on Spain and Portugal, the Iberian Peninsula, and how they got out of, Muslim control and Islamic territories when they were at that point. So I was, I really loved that teacher, by the way. He was awesome. Professor, if you end up watching this somehow, thank you. You were my favorite professor in college. So I don't want to say his name or anything, but we go to this hall I'm talking about, where there's this walkway with all these, vending machines, and I get these things like sweet tarts, but they're like gumballs almost. And I'm eating them. I grab them and I'm eating them because, like, at this point I only had like 10 minutes, and this is a good 10-minute walk if you're walking fast. So I'm like trying to rush, and I'm on my like third one. And I swear, dude, I don't know how, but I swallowed it without chewing or anything. And I started choking. It was the scariest thing, dude, because I like am holding my throat, like doing this, like that's the symbol for I'm fucking choking, save me. And I walk up to these girls and I do that and they just look at me and give me a fucking weird look and then look away. I was so pissed. I'm literally thinking I'm gonna fucking die here from a candy that is this big. I was so pissed. And I was freaking the fuck out. So then we get to fucking, I think maybe about a minute. I swear, dude, my whole face was red at this point. Like, the only reason I know is because there's a fucking mirror right by the water fountain. And I didn't know at the point, but you're not supposed to drink water. It doesn't actually help whenever you're choking most of the time. But I'm like freaking out, I'm choking. I throw my stuff down at this point because I was just holding it, trying to, but then I throw it down, my laptop. I think that's when I broke it because I threw my backpack down, threw my binders down, throw the candy everywhere. And finally, this guy comes up. He's a heavier set guy like me, just a little bit shorter. He's like, oh my God, he's choking. And this other guy's there too. This buff guy's there. But the little guy grabs me and like does the Heimlich. And I don't know what happened, but instead of spitting it out, I swallowed it. And it was fine. But it was so embarrassing that I literally was like, thank you for saving my life. I grabbed my stuff and I literally sprinted to the bus. Because UF is so big that you have to ride buses to your parking spot if you don't live on campus. And I'm not even joking. I sprinted to the bus stop. I get on the bus and I'm like still panting because like your throat's fucking hurting at this point. I was fucking choking to death. I finally get to my car and I'm like, dude, that was so embarrassing. And again, I'm not easily embarrassed, but that shit was embarrassing because them ladies just fucking stared at me like, what is this weirdo doing? I was in there dying. I get to my wife's work, and we weren't married at the time, but we were dating. And I'm like, I tell her the story, and she starts laughing at me. It was kind of funny, I understand. And the crazy part was that the next semester, that same guy who saved my life was in my class, and we ended up becoming friends. I never told him. I swear, we don't talk now. I haven't seen him since then. We both graduated. Like he graduated like probably the semester after me, but at that point we were pretty good friends because we were seeing each other every day. And I don't even know. I remember his name was Ryan. I don't know if he ever watches this somehow. Thank you again. But I never brought it up to him that was me. But I think he knew. I don't know because we instantly kind of bonded in a Spanish class. And it was so funny that it just happened to be the same exact guy. And he sat next to me. We were partners. We weren't even planned to be partners. We were partners because we sat next to each other. Didn't even know. And on a weekend, I was like, oh my God, that's him. I just never brought it up. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget, please, to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please. Did you do it? What about now? Do it, please. Thank you. Peace.